It's time for another video, and this time, pew pew pew. That's right, I just bought this K40 laser off of a Facebook marketplace from a local guy. So got a good deal on it, and let's see what we got. So yes, we have a K40 laser that I just brought home, and that my wife will be angry about, and but that's okay. I got a really good deal on it, and the guy that had it, it was a local guy, and he said that he had less than 10 hours on it, and it was used for doing engraving cork coasters, so it wasn't used very hard in that 10 hours. He found that doing the sublimated cork coasters that he was making were selling better, so he stopped using the laser. So he decided to sell it, and I snatched it, and this is what we got. So this is exactly how I've brought it home. The hose is attached. It's completely stock. There's none of the usual K40 modifications have been made on it at all. It's got the K40 fan that everybody throws away, the hose and all that good stuff. He gave me the bucket that he had done for his coolant with the pump in there. And then in here, you can see everything is exactly stock. Nothing changed at all in here. And I mean, looking at it, you can tell it's dusty from sitting. It's not sooty or anything like that. So very low hours on it from what it looks like. So I'm pretty happy with that. The first thing I'm going to do is take off the hose and the fan, which will make getting it through the doors a lot easier. Look, I mean, he even had it plugged into the plugs that everybody says don't use those plugs. So I mean, it was really lightly used, so I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the machine. First thing we're going to look at is the laser. You can see it's upside down, but it is there. It's 2019.4, so April of 2019 is when that tube was made. And everything back here looks nice and clean. Nothing looks out of place or anything like that, so that's good. Next, we'll look inside the power supply cabinet. And I've already checked all this stuff. Everything in here looks nice and decent. I've heard some horror stories about the how stuff is connected inside here, and this one looks pretty good. When you get in here to the main cabinet area, I did notice he must have had a different bed in here, because all the screws for this stupid bed thing that nobody uses, they're all gone, so that'll lift right out. So we're gonna have to do that. But the other thing I've noticed in here is the laser head. Look how much movement's on it. And yeah, so we're gonna have to cinch that up a bit and all that good stuff. But everything else looks good. We're gonna have to go through and make sure all the mirrors are aligned and all that good stuff. And that'll be next. I also brought up the bucket and 3 gallons of distilled water, so that'll be what's there for now. And the whole machine itself is sitting on the floor next to my desk. I'm probably going to bring up another table to put this on, but for now it'll sit in front of the dead cactuses. But ooh, the sky looks pretty. Now you'd think getting this little vent hood out of there would be really simple. I mean, it's got 4 little screws that go on the back, and it's a really horrible design. But besides that, you think it would be really simple to get out. I've got this huge disaster going on over here. I've had to take apart half the machine to get it out. Like, you would think it would just lift out, but no. There's a couple things you got to do. You got to unbolt the machine. There's 2 in the back there. There's 2 underneath this front lip here too. And once you get those out, then you also have to get those standoffs. Those standoffs get in the way. That one's just not all the way out, but this one's all the way out on this side. And then, even then, there's a screw going to the tube in the back there, which is why this is all scratched up now. And just kind of getting it over this little hump thing that's back here, this little brace. So major pain in the butt to get that out. I've really thinking about just leaving it alone, but I've gone ahead and obviously pulled it out. So next what I'm going to do with it is I marked a line on it, and that's where this is here. And I'm going to cut this extra section off of it, and just to open up that front end a little bit. I really don't think this little bit of a tube here is probably helping it all anyway. So yeah, so I'm going to cut that off and struggle to get it back in. All right, we're finally back together. It was a little bit of a chore to get it back together, but you know, just getting the screw holes to line up and you know, finagling with it since it's on the floor. It's a pain in the butt to deal with. While I had it all apart too, I did correct the issue I had here with the X carriage. These little wheels here are on concentric hold bearings or whatever you want to, I don't know, whatever it is. They move a little bit. So what I did is I loosened up this little set screw on the front a little bit, and then took a Allen wrench and put it in here to the wheel and turned it to the right. And then I started here in this front corner, set it as far close to the gantry as I could, or as it would go, and tightened it back down. Did the same to this one, so that I made sure it was, you know, it was pushing back that way as far as it could go. And then I went to the back ones and snugged it back up. So now there's no play in that at all. So that's really good. The rear vent is back in, and looks much better. I think, you know, putting a piece of material here is a lot easier than trying to like slip it underneath of that thing and all that good stuff. So that's all back in. And now it's time to start aligning my mirrors. So there's a lot of videos on YouTube about that. So I will let you go see a better one. And it's the same ones that I've followed anyway. So I'm going to work on that, and we'll test fire this thing. I went to a couple stores today to get a piece of metal to replace that bed, and was unsuccessful. So finding what I wanted. So took my dog with me, and well, he at one point he had enough and just sat down in the middle of the store and was like, it's time to go home, let's go. So we'll try that again tomorrow maybe. All right, well, besides that, I'm gonna get this thing lined up, and we'll do some test fire. Okay, so after a few days messing around, the laser head is not aligned the way I want it to be yet. I found that it was 15 millimeters below mirror 2, and I mean, if you thinking logically, it should all be in one coplanar line, but for whatever reason, it's where it's supposed to be. But you can look at the gantry and you can see that the mirror is, or that the laser head is tilted, so it's not going to give me a clean cut. But I want to try it and just see what's happening here. So on my computer, I have K40 Whisperer up, and made a little prototype design for a larger project that I'm going to make, and just going to see what happens. So fan is on, it's blowing air, water is circulating, it's initialized into the system so I can, the laser, so I can move it around and all that good stuff. And I'm gonna leave it set on where the last guy that had this machine had it set for cork. So it's gonna do some raster engraving, and then it's supposed to go around at the end and do a cutout. But the wood I put in here is far too thick to be cut out. I'm thinking like it was gonna be like a 3 millimeter plywood or something like that. It would cut it out. But this is just gonna not cut it out. So this is like 3/4 inch thick stuff. So, but it's all I had around at the moment. So I'm gonna go get some other stuff after I've burned up some scraps. So let's just see what happens. Well, it just finished, so let's see how the first test cut goes. Yeah, not horrible. There, you can see there's a change here, and I noticed it really wasn't burning anything, and so I cranked the power up a little bit to get it to start bouncing up to closer to the 10 milliamps. So that's where the change from the barely burning to much more substantial burning happened. And it's a good little test, I guess. We're gonna have a lot more testing to do. And I mean, of course, it's gonna help when I have material that I'll actually be burning on instead of this junk wood. So yeah, that's it. Well, hope you like it and subscribe it, and maybe we'll make some real videos with this thing.